This lesson is on adjacent and vertical angles, part 2. Let's go over some vocabularies. So one of the vocabulary is called the adjacent angles. Adjacent angles is when two angles share a common side. So let's take, for example, angle 1. I'm going to go ahead and draw that out right there. Angle 1 is adjacent to angle 2 because it shares the same line right there, the same wall. Or it can also be adjacent to angle 4 because it shares the same wall right there or the line right there. It is not adjacent to angle 3 because it does not share a same side with angle 3. So the second definition is a vertical angle. A vertical angle is when angles form by two lines crossing each other, an intersection, and the angles are now the opposite of the angle. They are also called congruent angles, meaning that they are the same measurement. So as you can see in angle 1 is vertical angle to angle 3, and they are congruent as far as the measurement goes. And if you look at angle 2, it is vertical to angle 4 because they're opposites of each other right there. And they are also congruent angles, meaning that the angles inside are going to measure the same. In example 1, we're going to go ahead and name pairs of adjacent and vertical angles. In our first angle example is letter A, where we have is Q, J, and K. So let's go ahead and draw that. So we have is a Q, J, and K. So that's the angle that we're looking at is right here. And what is adjacent to this angle? So let's go ahead and list all the adjacent angle for that. So we have angle Q, J, P, or angle KJL because they are next to that angle right there. Now, what is vertical to that angle? And then going back to definition, vertical would have to be the opposite. So that would be angle NJM right there. Let's look at letter B, which is then P, J, and N. Let's draw that out. P, J, N. And we're looking at this angle right here. So what is adjacent to that angle? That would be the angles that are next to it. There are two. We can say angle P, J, Q. Notice I can go reverse on the lettering right there, or call it angle Q, J, P. The other one would be then angle N, J, M. Or we can go reverse and call it M, J, N. And then the angle that is vertical to that, angle P, J, N, would have to be the opposite angle. And the opposite angle would be the angle that is right here. And so that is angle KJL. In example 2, now we're going to go ahead and find the values of x using the definitions that we have learned in part 1 and also in part 2 of this lesson. I know that this angle right here is 70 degrees. Using my definition of vertical angle, I know then the opposite angle right here would have to be the same because it is congruent. So angle X would have to be equal to 70 degrees. In example 3, we're finding the value of X and the value of the angle. Given this picture that we have a square that signifies that this is a 90 degrees angle. Therefore, the two angles need to add up to 90 degrees. I have is 31 degrees, and we're going to add to that the angle of x plus 4 degrees, and that is going to total to 90 degrees right there. We're going to go ahead and do our algebra step. Our first step is to look at the parentheses If there is a number in front of that parentheses, we're going to go ahead and distribute that. But if there is no number, we're going to go ahead and drop our parentheses and do our next step. So let's go ahead and drop our parentheses and rewrite this as 31 plus x plus 4 is equal to 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and combine my terms because I can see that I have a 31 and a 4 that I can combine on this side of the equal sign. So 31 plus 4 will equal to 35. And then we're going to copy our plus x is equal to 90 over here. Okay, next step is to add or subtract our numbers. So we can see we're going to go ahead and bring the 35 over to the other side of the equal sign. If it comes over to the other side of the equal sign, since currently it is a positive, we're going to go ahead and subtract it. So that's going to become 90 minus 35 is equal to x right there. And then we can go ahead and subtract 90 minus 35, 55. So x equals 55 degrees right there. So if x is equal to 55, we have found just part 1 because the other was to find the angle. So to find the angle we're looking for is this angle right here. And so I would have to add my x, which is 55, and to the 4. So 55 plus the 4 will give us then 59 degrees as far as the angle goes right there.